What would you do if your best friend was being dragged underwater by a crocodile? Freeze or fight? Today's story is about an 11-year-old girl who didn't hesitate. She fought a deadly predator with her bare hands. Before we dive in, hit that subscribe button, like this video, and share it with someone who believes heroes only exist in movies, because this one is real. The sun hung lazily over the horizon, painting the sky with streaks of gold and amber. In the quiet village of Sinderela, Zimbabwe, the day unfolded like countless others before it. Roosters had long finished their morning chorus, and the dust along the footpaths had been kicked up by children's hurried feet. It was the first day of the school break, and a group of friends had made a silent, unspoken agreement. Today was for adventure. 11-year-old Rebecca Munkombwe led the way, a slim girl with curious eyes and a bold stride. Her laughter was the kind that bubbled easily, loud and contagious. Right beside her, trying to keep up, was 9-year-old Latoya, her best friend. Latoya was quieter, softer-spoken, and careful, always watching where she stepped. They balanced each other perfectly. The group of children, mostly girls, carried nothing but excitement and small towels flung across their shoulders. The plan was simple. Head to the stream that curved gently along the edge of the village and escape the heat with a cool swim. It was a place they knew well. The rocks were smooth, the current gentle. The stream wasn't deep, at least not where they usually played. It had always felt safe. As they approached, the water glimmered under the sunlight, rippling slightly with the breeze. A few dragonflies hovered over the surface, and birds chirped lazily from nearby branches. The place seemed untouched, pristine, and familiar. No one questioned whether it was a good idea. No one thought to pause and listen for anything beneath the surface. Rebecca was the first to step in, toes curling in delight as the cold water greeted her ankles. She motioned for the others to follow. Latoya hesitated, just for a second, scanning the far side of the stream, then quietly stepped in beside her. The water rose to their knees, then their waists. The current tickled, playful and light. Giggles filled the air. The girls splashed and swirled around each other. Some took turns balancing on rocks. Others dunked their heads beneath the surface and popped up with wide grins. Rebecca dipped under for a moment, resurfacing with a triumphant gasp, her short braids dripping. "Bet you can't stay under as long as I can," she teased. Latoya wrinkled her nose. "You always cheat," she replied with a smile, but accepted the challenge anyway. The two girls counted down, 3, 2, 1, and disappeared beneath the surface. Time slowed. The water was cool, and silence wrapped around them like a blanket. Bubbles floated upward. Latoya was the first to rise, gasping, pushing strands of wet hair from her eyes. "I win," Rebecca grinned, surfacing a second later. Their laughter echoed across the stream, innocent, pure. It was the kind of moment that etched itself into memory without anyone realizing it. A moment of peace, of light-hearted joy, one that felt like it could go on forever. But it wouldn't. Off to the side, one of the younger girls shrieked, though it was a happy sound. She'd slipped on a smooth stone and splashed awkwardly into the shallow pool. The others laughed. Rebecca turned her head for just a second, smiling at the clumsy fall. Latoya had drifted a few feet away, tracing a lazy circle in the water with her hands. And then it happened. Not with a roar, not with a splash, just a sudden, unnatural ripple. A flash of movement, barely visible. And a sound, a guttural cry. High-pitched, terrified, unmistakably real. Rebecca spun around. Latoya was gone. Then, from beneath the water, an arm flailed. A scream followed. It was Latoya. The world shifted. Time fractured. Rebecca froze, heart slamming against her chest, mind scrambling to make sense of the scene. One moment, they were playing. The next, her best friend was being dragged beneath the surface. Other children screamed, their laughter replaced by panic. Some scrambled out of the stream. One stumbled backward, falling into the shallows before regaining her footing and running. The air turned electric with fear. But Rebecca didn't move. Not away, at least. Her eyes locked on the spot where Latoya had gone under. She saw it now, the flash of scaly gray, the thrash of a tail, the unmistakable pull of a powerful creature asserting control. A crocodile. It had her. Rebecca's breath caught, but something deeper took hold. The kind of instinct that doesn't wait for logic. the kind that moves faster than fear. She stepped forward. Then again. The water tugged at her knees as she pushed through, arms slicing across the surface, eyes scanning. She saw Latoya's head emerge briefly. The crocodile had latched onto her arm, then her thigh. Her scream cut through the air again. There was no one else coming. No adult. No neighbor. No miracle. It had to be her. Rebecca didn't scream. She didn't pause to call for help. She charged into the heart of the danger, mouth clenched, breath tight. The only sound in her ears the pounding of her pulse. The others could only watch. The sun still shone. The stream still rippled. But the innocence of the day had vanished. The water should have been quiet, gentle, warm, harmless. But in one heart-stopping instant, it turned into something else entirely. Latoya's scream tore through the air like a blade. It wasn't a playful shriek. It was primal, raw, full of terror. Heads whipped around. Children froze mid-splash. Some didn't even understand what they were seeing. Rebecca saw her friend's arm jerk violently, yanked below the surface. A sharp thrash of water followed, and Latoya's head vanished beneath the stream. Then, just as quickly, it bobbed back up. Her eyes wide, mouth open, gasping. The stream, which moments ago had shimmered like glass, now frothed with chaos. Beneath Latoya, the dark shadow of a crocodile writhed. Muscle and menace fused into one. Its jaws clamped down on her thigh, dragging her back into the depths. Screams multiplied. One girl bolted toward the bank, slipping, falling hard onto the mud. Another pulled a younger sibling to safety, sobbing. The forest echoed with cries. Rebecca didn't scream. She couldn't. Her breath caught in her throat, stuck behind a lump of fear so dense she thought it might choke her. Her feet refused to move, stuck somewhere between flight and fight. But her eyes stayed locked on Latoya. The crocodile twisted in the water, dragging its victim toward deeper current. Latoya's fingers scratched at the surface. Her free hand slapped the stream, desperate for anything. Air, grip, help. And then Rebecca moved. A single step, then another. She didn't even feel the cold anymore. The weight of the water no longer mattered. Her friend was in the jaws of death, and she knew without question, if she hesitated, Latoya would be gone. Forever. Rebecca dove in. The others gasped behind her, but she didn't hear them. Water rushed past her ears as she fought the current, arms flailing with frantic purpose. Ahead, Latoya vanished again, pulled into the swirl of brown and foam. Rebecca reached the spot where the thrashing had been. Her hand stretched out, grabbed something, hair, wet and slick, and held tight. She barely had time to pull before the current shifted and the crocodile surfaced again. The beast's back broke the surface, ridged and scaled. Its snout rose with Latoya half-submerged, limp, moaning. The world around them faded. No more bird calls, no more sun. Only the splash of death circling its prey and a girl who refused to let go. Rebecca's teeth clenched. She lunged toward the crocodile, heart pounding with one thought. She's not dying today. Not on my watch. Rebecca didn't stop to think. Her body surged forward, driven by something bigger than fear, something deeper than logic. She hurled herself at the crocodile, her arms wrapping around its slick, thrashing back. It was larger than she imagined, heavier, colder, alive in a way that didn't belong to this world. The water erupted again. The crocodile jerked violently as she landed on it, but she clung tight, ignoring the sting of claws scraping her knees on a hidden rock. Latoya's leg was still trapped in its jaws. Her eyes rolled back, her body limp, too weak to fight anymore. "Let her go," Rebecca screamed, though her voice was swallowed by the roar of the stream. She raised her fists and pounded the beast's back. Once, twice, over and over. Her hands thudded against the rough hide, her knuckles scraping open. It didn't budge. The crocodile twisted, dragging them both into deeper water. Rebecca's feet couldn't find the bottom anymore. She kicked, choked, gasped, but didn't stop. And then, instinct kicked in. Her fingers clawed upward, past the neck, toward its head. She reached for its eyes. One hand found the socket. She shoved her thumb in. The crocodile bucked hard. Water exploded upward as it whipped its head, loosening its grip on Latoya, just slightly. Rebecca didn't hesitate. She shoved deeper, jamming her fingers into the other eye, twisting, screaming with everything left inside her. The beast let out a strange, guttural sound, low and bubbling, then thrashed so hard it threw Rebecca backward into the water. Latoya's leg came free. Rebecca surfaced, coughing and gasping. She grabbed Latoya by the arm and pulled her upward. Her friend was barely conscious, head bobbing, lips blue, eyes glassy. "You're okay?" she whispered, even though she didn't know if it was true. "You're okay." She turned toward the shore. It looked so far now. "Help," she called. The other children, still frozen on the bank, finally stirred. One of the older girls rushed in, then another. Together, they met Rebecca halfway, dragging both girls onto the riverbank. Latoya collapsed onto the sand, trembling and bleeding. Her thigh was mangled. Her arm bore deep bite marks. But she was breathing. Alive. Rebecca collapsed beside her, chest heaving, soaked and shivering. Blood dripped from her fingers, but she barely noticed. Her eyes never left Latoya's face. For a moment, no one spoke. Only the stream, once again calm, whispered in the background, silent witness to a battle that no child should ever have to fight. But Rebecca had fought, and she had won. The quiet that followed was thick with disbelief. The children sat huddled on the riverbank, watching Latoya's chest rise and fall, slow but steady. Someone had run to fetch help. Someone else held Rebecca's hand as she stared blankly at the stream, its surface once again calm, as if nothing had happened. But everything had changed. An hour later, villagers arrived, parents, neighbors, older siblings, alerted by the cries and panic. Latoya's father, Fortune Mwani, sprinted to his daughter's side, dropping to his knees at the sight of her torn leg and pale face. He thought the worst, but someone whispered, "She's alive." Rebecca saved her. They rushed Latoya to St. Patrick's Hospital. The doctors worked quickly, cleaning her wounds, stitching the jagged bites, checking for broken bones. Miraculously, there were none. The crocodile's jaws had spared her spine and vital organs. The doctors shook their heads, amazed. Word spread quickly. In markets, homes, and churches, the story of the girl who fought a crocodile traveled like fire. At first, people didn't believe it. An 11-year-old? Attacking a crocodile with her bare hands? It sounded impossible, until they met her. Rebecca sat beside Latoya's hospital bed, fingers bandaged, her eyes tired. When someone asked why she did it, she shrugged softly. "She's my friend," she said. "I couldn't just watch." But others saw more than friendship. They saw bravery, instinct, something far beyond her age. Rebecca became more than a schoolgirl. She became a symbol. Local newspapers called her the girl warrior of Wang. Radio stations told her story across the region. Officials visited the family, shaking hands and offering gifts. One even promised a scholarship. But Rebecca didn't care about the attention. She only cared that Latoya would walk again, that she would laugh again. At home, her parents wept with pride. "She has always been strong," her mother said. "But I never imagined she'd face death for someone else." Villagers began to speak openly about the danger in the streams. Community leaders arranged talks on water safety. A warning sign was posted at the stream. People no longer called it safe. Not after that day. But something else had changed too. Rebecca and Latoya, once ordinary children in a quiet corner of Zimbabwe, had become a story, one about loyalty, courage, and survival. A story people would retell in schools, at dinner tables, and around fire pits. One that began with a swim and ended with a fight no one expected a child to win. Rebecca Munkombwe didn't wear a cape, but that day, she was every bit a superhero. Her bravery reminds us that true courage isn't about strength, it's about heart. What would you have done in her place? Would you face the jaws of death for a friend? Tell us in the comments below. If this story inspired you, help us share it with the world. Click like, hit subscribe, and share this video with someone who needs a reminder that heroes come in all sizes, even 11-year-old girls from small villages. Thanks for watching.